Yeah, just a recap of the game. Quality opponent in Appalachian State and an older team, team with a lot of experience, excuse me, in both the backcourt and the front court. So a really good test and opportunity for us today, this early in the year. And they certainly tested us. They tested us on both ends of the floor. I thought in the first half, I thought we took relatively good care of the ball. We had 9 assists. I think they really got us in the paint, which is what they were doing. We were shooting the ball well, so even though we weren't scoring in the paint, we were getting the ball inside out. I think second half we started out strong with a really good couple possessions, and then we missed some really good looks. We had a wide open 3 from Connor. Jaden had a backdoor dunk that it was blocked. A great play by them. And they went down and capitalized on both of those. We then came back and had 2 not so great possessions where I think we were trying to answer those 2 baskets, and then immediately put them up by 10. So credit to our guys, not flustered at all in the huddles. We came back and tied the game back up, and was proud of them. But I think when you have to play catch up 3 or 4 times in a game, it is, no pun intended, it's going to catch up with you. And I think we just couldn't make the plays at the end that we had to. And I think their physical ability and their ability to get the ball in the paint was the difference.
Questions for Coach?
Coach, you look at this game and you early a number of times, maybe the hurried shots and transition baskets hurt you early. How do they draw the line there? And what do you want them to do to, get from taking a good shot to making sure we don't get in those transition situations?
Yeah, it's we emphasize it and we rate every possession we have, Murph. So tomorrow they're going to see what our shot. The first thing I share with the staff, every shot is rated. I do that myself, both sides of the ball. And a lot of the shots, we missed a lot of shots that were rated 4s, which are some of the best shots for us. If we get a 3 in transition, we are shooting it. That is a good shot for us. It's that when we get rushed in transition, those are the shots we got to stay away from. So yeah, we'll emphasize it. Guys will watch individual film, we'll watch group film, but we don't want to slow down. But I think you're absolutely right. You want to play fast but smart at the same time.
And your threes actually kept you in the game today. I mean, you shot well from the floor as far as threes, but early, that's one of the reasons you get behind, with those transition situations.
Yeah, I agree.
Defensively, it looked like you had trouble keeping in front of you, especially. Is that something you saw too, or is that something, and how do you fix that? Is that just practice?
It's practice. We have to get better at it, and they spread the floor, right? They have unique spacing. They play 4 guards, but they also play 2 bigs, and they leave a lot of the floor open. And so a lot of it is, we talked about guarding your yard, being physical, knowing your personnel, what guys want to do, get to the right hand, left hand, catch and shoot versus drive. And I think I thought they took advantage of some of the baseline drives. The rotations weren't there on the baseline drives. I'll take the tough shots. I didn't like the 2-foot comfort shots in the paint where we weren't physical and really guarding the ball. Sometimes you're on an island out there, but you got to know there's 4 guys behind you, and I think that's an area we definitely will make some strides in.
You mentioned the baseline drives. One thing I noticed is, unfortunately, a player gave up the baseline. Brandon got his first foul, and then he wasn't in trouble then. But plays like that he has to step up, affect the team later in the game.
Yeah, their center drew 7 fouls on us. He had 13 points, but drew 7 fouls. Big physical. Their whole front line's big and physical. But yeah, we got to do our job so that way other guys aren't put in tough situations. Agreed.
Yeah, how is Connor doing? 2 games back, and obviously had a tough shooting night today. But physically, how's he doing?
I mean, he looks good. He's not going to tell you if he's not. He's a tough kid. These guys know, and I just someone you enjoy coaching. Someone I'm sure these guys just every second they're on the court with them love playing with them.
Questions for the student athletes?
First, I don't know if you guys want to respond to it. It would seem like they had some big dudes in the paint, and how do you try to play those guys, or what is it different than usually? And you obviously some good play in the Ivy League, but they had some pretty good size in the paint. What was the game plan and what you do or not do? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, the game plan was to do our work early, so our job wasn't as strenuous in terms of fighting back with them. and to not get in a fighting match, because obviously they are some pretty big, solid guys. I think at first we were fighting a bit too much, and then that got me in foul trouble. But yeah, like Coach said, they're big, solid guys, and they know how to position themselves well. And it's just something we have to learn from in terms of doing our work early and beating them to the spot so we're not fighting back. And I think that was a trend that carried on to the rest of the game. So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. It was definitely a point of emphasis to stay attached to those guys at all times, because if you become detached and you don't really know where they are, they can get good positioning. And I think they're really good. They're good players. They're really big. They're physical. So I think that's definitely something that I have to get better at for sure, and I think I will.
I don't know if you're aware of the points in the paint, numbers that are astronomical. 50 to 16. That's 5-0 to 16. But the two of you both seem, I think you did a decent job defensively. How does something like that happen when you still, both of you, do a decent job defensively? Not saying great, but decent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some of those were offensive rebounds. A lot of those are probably perimeter drives where guards are getting into the paint, or they're collapsing the paint, drawing help, and then dishing to bigs. So it happens in a lot of ways. I don't think it's fair to put it on any one position or one group or one person. I think it's a collective effort. When you give up 50 points in a paint, it's definitely a team issue, I think. So I think, the bigs have to do a better job. I certainly have to do a better job there, and we will going forward.
You want
No, that's good.
Brandon, we talked before, in fact, last home game, about the falling behind and having to catch up, and we were back there again today. But I thought, as far as leadership is concerned, you had as much energy and as much leadership on the floor during the game. You just seemed to have a little extra spring today. What brought that about? You always have it, but you had more.
I would say just leading by example. Obviously, calls weren't going my way today, but I didn't want the team or my attitude to bleed into the rest of the team. So I was doing everything I could off the court and, of course, on the court to make sure that we were still running and doing what we do best. And, I mean, that's just something leaders like us seniors have to do. I mean, things aren't going to always go your way, and you got to always find something to get your team going. And I think that was my job today. I wasn't playing as well as I wanted to, but I think my job is to make sure that I'm even kill and I'm always the same so guys can follow suit.
Jackson, you look at today's game and you have a situation where, you by far had your best game of the season. Offensively, and again, I think defensively. I mean, when you lose a third straight one, I almost think that you can walk out of here saying things are going in the right direction for me. I mean, it's about the team, no question about that, but you must feel good about progress made today.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see some shots go in for sure. I work really hard, and my teammates and coaches, they believe in me. I mean, more than any group I've ever been a part of. They really, really believe in me, and so I thank them for that. So it was obviously nice to see some shots go in today, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not going to remember any of the shots that I took in games. You only really remember the relationships and the good moments, and every time you lose, it's not really a good moment. So I think, going forward, I'm looking forward to having a lot more good moments, because we're going to turn it around and we're going to start winning games.
Thank you.
Thank you.
guys.